Hello everyone, welcome to the course of Machine Learning Models Part 1. This video is brought to you by Newton's Group of Institutions in association with Redefined Solutions. This is your Arvind Degireddy from Department of Computer Science and Engineering. Before going into the topics, let us see some of the concepts in machine learning. First one, model. A machine learning model can be a mathematical representation of a real-world process. To generate a machine learning model, we will need to provide the training data to the machine learning algorithm to learn from. The second concept, algorithm. Machine learning algorithm is a hypothesis set that is taken at the beginning before the training starts to the real-world data. When we say linear regression algorithms, it means that the set of functions that define the similar characteristics as defined by the linear regression and form those set of functions, we will choose one function that fits the most of the training data. And the third concept, training. So while training for machine learning, you pass an algorithm with the training data. The learning algorithm finds patterns in the training data such that the input parameters corresponds to the target. So here the output of the training processes is a machine learning model which we can then use to make the predictions. And this process is also called as learning. Coming to the fourth part, that is regression. So regression techniques are used when the output is real world value based or on continuous variables. So for example, any time series data, the technique involves fitting a line. Now coming to classification, in classification you will need to categorize the data into predefined classes. For example, an email can either be a spam or not spam. Now coming to the target is whatever the output of the input variable. It could be the individual classes that the input variables may be mapped onto in the case of classification problems, or the output value range is a regression problem. So if the training set is considered, then the target is the training output value that will be considered. Now coming to next one, that is future. Here futures are the individual independent variables that act as input in our system. So prediction models use futures to make the predictions, and new futures can also be obtained from old futures using a method known as future engineering. So more simply, we can consider one column of our data set to be one future, and sometimes these are also called as attributes, and the number of attributes or the number of futures are called as dimensions. Now coming to labels, labels are nothing but they are the final output. So we can also consider the output classes to be the labels. When data scientists speak of labels data, they mean that the group of samples that have been tagged on one or more labels. Now coming to overfitting. So an important consideration in machine learning is how well the approximation of the target function that has been trained using the training data generalizes to the new data. So here the generalizations work best in the signals or the samples that is used as a training data that has a higher signal to noise ratio. So if that is not the case, then generalization would be very poor and we will not get good predictions. So a model is outfitting if it fits the training data too well and there is a poor generalization of the new data. Now coming to the next concept, that is regularization. So here regularization is nothing but it is a method to estimate the preferred complexity of the machine learning model so that the model generalization and the overfit or underfit problems is avoided. So this is done by adding a penalty to the different parameters of the model, thereby reducing the freedom of the model. And the next concept is parameter and hyperparameter. Here parameters are configuration variables that can be thought to be an internal to the model, as they can be estimated from the training data. So here the algorithms have mechanisms to optimize the parameters, whereas on the other hand, hyperparameters cannot be estimated from the training data. So hyperparameters of a model are set and tuned depending on the combination of some heuristics and the experience and the domain knowledge of the data scientists. So these are the some of the key machine learning terms that I thought are important and should be looked into for someone who is a machine learning beginner. In case if you have encountered some more common terms which are not included here, please do write about them in the comments session. Now, before going to see the different machine learning models, let us discuss these four topics. What is an algorithm in machine learning? What is a model in machine learning? Algorithm versus model framework, machine learning in automatic programming. Now coming to the first one, what is algorithm in machine learning? An algorithm in machine learning is a procedure that is run on data to create a machine learning model. Here, machine learning algorithms prefer or perform pattern recognition. So algorithms learn from data or fit on a data set. So there are many machine learning algorithms. For example, we have algorithms for classifications such as k-nearest neighbors. We have algorithms for regression such as linear regressions. And we have algorithms for clusters such as k-means. So here, some examples of machine learning algorithms are linear regression, logistic regression, decision trees, artificial neural networks, k-nearest neighbors, k-means. So we can think of machine learning algorithms like any algorithm in a computer science. For example, some other types of algorithms are that what we are familiar with in data structures include bubble sort for sorting data and best fit for searching the algorithms. So as such, machine learning algorithms have a number of properties. Machine learning algorithms can be described using max and pseudocode. The efficiency of the machine learning algorithms can be analyzed and decided. Machine learning algorithms can be implemented with any one of a range of modern programming languages. So for example, we may see machine learning algorithms describing with pseudocode or linear algebra in research papers and textbooks. So we may see the computational efficiency of a special machine learning algorithms compared to the other specific algorithms. So here academics can diverse entirely new machine learning algorithms, and machine learning practitioners can use standard machine learning algorithms on their projects. So this is just like other areas of computer science where academics can diverse entirely new sorting algorithms and programmers can use the standard sorting algorithms in their applications. So here we are also likely to see multiple machine learning algorithms implemented together and which provide in a library with standard application programming interfaces API. A popular example is scikit-learn library that provides the implementation of many classifications, regressions and cluster machine learning algorithms in Python. Now, coming to what is a model in machine learning. A model in machine learning is an output of machine learning algorithm run on the data. And a model represents what was learned by a machine learning algorithm. The model is the thing that is saved after running a machine learning algorithm on the training data and represents the rules, numbers, and any other algorithm specific data structures required to make predictions. So some examples might take them very clearly that the linear regression algorithms result in a or model comprised of a vector of coefficients with specific values. So the decision tree algorithms results in a model comprised of tree of if-then statements with specific values. The neural networks, backpropagation, gradient descent algorithms together result in a model comprised of a graph structures with vectors or matrix of weights with special values. So a machine learning model is more challenging for the beginner because there is not a clear analogy with other algorithms in computer science. For example, the sorted list output of a sorting algorithm is not really a model. The best analogy is to do things of machine learning models as a program. So these machine learning model programs is comprised of both data and a procedure for using the data to make the predictions. For example, consider the linear regression algorithm and resulting models. The model is comprised of a vector of coefficients data that are multiplied and summed with a row of new data taken as input in order to make the predictions. So we save the data from the machine learning models for later use, and we often use these prediction procedures for the machine learning model provided by machine learning library. Sometimes we may implement the prediction procedure ourselves as part of our application, and this is often straightforward to do given the most prediction procedures as quite simple. Now, coming to the algorithms versus model framework. So now we are familiar with what is machine learning algorithm versus machine learning model. Specifically, an algorithm is run on the data to create a model. So machine learning implies machine learning model. We use or we understand that the model is comprised of both data and a procedure for how to use the data to make the predictions on a new data. And we can think of the procedure as a prediction algorithm. If you like, machine learning model is equal to model data plus prediction algorithm. So this division is very helpful in understanding a wide range of algorithms. For example, most algorithms have all of their work in the algorithm, and the prediction algorithm does very little. So typically the algorithm is some sort of optimization procedure that minimizes errors of the model, data or prediction algorithm on the training data set. So the linear regression algorithm is a good example. If performs an operation process or is solved analytically using linear algebra. So to find a set of weights that minimizes the sum squared error on the training data set. Now, coming to the linear regression, this algorithm, we need to find the set of coefficients that minimizes the errors on the training data set. And the model data is a vector of coefficients, and the prediction algorithm, what we use is multiple and sum coefficients with input true. So here some algorithms are trivial or even do nothing, and all of the work is the model or prediction algorithm. Now coming to the k nearest neighbor algorithm, which has no algorithm other than saving the entire training data set. Here the model data set therefore is the entire training data set, and all of the work is in the prediction algorithm. That is how a new row of data interacts with the saved training data set to make the predictions. So here the k nearest neighbors algorithm saves the training data, and the model is entire training data set, and here the prediction algorithm is to find the k most similar rows and average their target variables. So you can use the breakdown as a framework to understand any machine learning algorithm. Now coming to the machine learning is automatic programming. So we really just want a machine learning model, and the algorithm is just the path we follow to get the model. So machine learning techniques are used for problems that cannot be solved efficiently or effectively in other ways. For example, if we need to classify the emails as a spam or not spam, we need a software program to do this. So we could sit down, manually review a ton of emails and write the if statements to perform this task. People have tried. It turns out that this approach is slow, fragile, and not very effective. So instead, we can use machine learning techniques to solve the problems. Specifically, an algorithm like Navy Base can learn how to classify the email messages as spam and not spam for a large data set of historical examples of email. So we don't want Navy base, we want the model that Navy base gives is that we can use the classify email that we want to model, not the algorithms used to create the model. So in this session, the machine learning model is a program that automatically written or created or learned by the machine learning algorithm to solve our problem. So as a developers, we are less interested in learning the performance by the machine learning algorithms in an artificial intelligence sense. So we don't care about simulating the learning process. So some people may be, and it is interesting, but this is not why we are using machine learning algorithms. So instead we are working interested in the automatic programming capabilities offered by machine learning algorithms, and we want to effectively model, create effectively what can be incorporated into our software project. So machine learning algorithms perform automatic programming, and machine learning models are the programs created for us. Machine learning models can be mainly classified into three buckets: supervised, unsupervised, and reinforcement learning models. So coming to the first one, that is supervised learning model. Such models are built from the data that has a target column. Examples: linear regressions, logistic regressions, SVM, KNN, Navier Bayes. And the second one is unsupervised learning models. Such models use data that has no labeled target columns. Examples: clustering algorithms, k-means, hierarchical clustering, Aperior. Now the third one is reinforcement learning models. So such models learn with experience and improve each time after committing an error. So for example, Markov decision process and Q-learning comes under this category. So the usage of these models depends on the kind of the problems we are trying to solve. So to learn more on machine learning and to get hands-on experience with building the machine learning models, please watch my video until the end. A machine learning model is a file that has been trained to recognize certain type of patterns. We train a model over a set of data, providing it an algorithm that it can use to reason over the learn from those data. So once we have trained the model, then we can use it in to reason our data that it has not seen before and make predictions about those data. For example, let us say that we want to build an application that can recognize an user's emotions based on their facial expressions. Then what we can do? Then we can train a model by providing it with images of the faces that are each tagged with certain emotions, and then we can use that model in an application that can recognize any user's emotions. Now, coming to the taxonomy of machine learning models, there is no simple way to classify the machine learning algorithms. So in this session, we present a taxonomy of machine learning models, which is adapted from the book Machine Learning by Peter Flatch. While the structure of our classifying algorithms is based on the book, and the explanation presented is created for a given problem that collects all possible outcomes representing the sample space or an instant space. So the basic idea for creating a taxonomy of algorithms is that we divide the instant space by using one of the three ways: by using a logical regression, using a geometry of the instant space, or using the probability to classify the instant space. So the outcome of the transformation of the instant space by a machine learning algorithm using these mentioned techniques should be exhaustive, that is, which covers all possible outcomes, and by using mutual exclusion, that is, non-overlapping happens. Now coming to the first one, that is logical models. So here the logical models are tree models and rule models, and these logical models use a logical expression to divide the instance space into segments and hence construct grouping models. A logical expression is an expression that returns a Boolean value that is either true or false outcome. So once the data is grouped using a logical expression, then the data is divided into homogeneous grouping for the problem we are trying to solve. For example, for classification problems, all the instances in the group belongs to one class. There are mainly two kinds of logical models: tree models and rule models. So here rule models consists of collection of implications of if-then rules, and for tree models or tree-based models, the if part defines the segment and the then part defines the behavior of the model for the segment. So here rule model follows the same reasoning. Tree models can be seen as a particular type of rule model where the if part of the rules are organized in tree structures. Excuse me. Both tree models and rule models use the same approach to the supervised learning. The approach can be summarized in two strategies. We could first find the body of the rule that covers the sufficient homogeneous set of examples, and then find a label to represent the body. So alternatively, we could approach it from the other direction. That is, first we need to select a class we want to learn, and then we need to find the rules that cover the examples of the class. Now, let us see a simple tree-based model as shown here. So here the tree shows a survival numbers of passengers on the Titanic. So SP is the number of sponsors or siblings abroad. The value under the leaves show the probability of survival and the percentage of observations in the leaf. And the model can be summarized as your chance of survival where good if you are a female or a male younger than 9.5 years with less than 2.5 siblings. Now coming to the logical model and concept learning. So here, to understand the logical model further, we need to understand the idea of concept learning. Concept learning involves learning logical expressions or concepts from examples. Here, the idea of concept learning fits in well with the idea of machine learning, that is, inferring a general function from a specific training examples. Concept learning forms the basis for both tree-based and the rule-based models. More formally, the concept learning involves acquiring the definition of general categories from a given set of positive and negative training examples of the categories. So, a formal definition for concept learning is the inferior of a Boolean valued function from training examples of its input and output. So in concept learning, we will only learn a description of a positive class and label everything that does not satisfy that description as negative. So here, the following example explains the idea in more detail. So here, a concept learning task called enjoy sport as shown in this table is defined by a set of data from some example days. Each data is described by 6 attributes. The task is to learn to predict the values of enjoy sport for a arbitrary day based on the values of its attribute values. Here, the problem can be represented by a series of hypotheses, and each hypothesis is described by a conjunction of constraints on the attributes. So here, the training data represents a set of positive and negative examples of the target function. In the example here, each hypothesis is a vector of 6 constraints which is specifying the values of the 6 attributes: sky, air temp, humidity, wind, water, and forecast. So here, the training, thus the problem can be formulated as, here given the instance x which represents a set of all possible days, each described by its attributes. For example, if you take the sky values can be sunny, cloudy, or it can be rainy. Whereas coming to air temp, the values can be, the temperature can be warm or cold, and the humidity can be normal or high, wind can be strong or weak, water can be warm or cold, forecast can be same or it may change. So we try to identify the functions that can predict the target variables which enjoy sports as yes or no, that is 1 or 0. That is whether the sports can be run or the sports are not going to be run. So it depends on the value of the atmosphere. So now coming to the concept learning as a search problem and as an inductive learning. So here we can also formulate the concept learning as search problem. We can think of concept learning as searching through a set of predefined space of potential hypotheses to identify the hypothesis that best fits the training examples. So here, concept learning is also an example of inductive learning. Inductive learning, also known as discovery learning, which is a process where the learning discovers rules by observing the examples. So here, inductive learning is different from deductive learning, where students are given the rules that they need to form from deductive learning. So here where students are given rules, then they need to apply them. So inductive learning is based on the inductive learning hypothesis. So the inductive learning hypothesis postulates that any hypothesis found to approximate the target function well over the sufficiently large set of training examples is expected to approximate the target functions as well as over other unobserved examples. So this idea is the fundamental assumption of inductive learning. So to summarize in this session, we saw the first class of algorithms where we divided the instance space based on the logical expressions. We also discussed how logical models are based on the theory of concept learning and which in turn can be formulated as an individual learning or a search problem. Now, coming to the second model, that is geometric models. So in the previous slides, we have seen that with logical models such as a decision trees, a logical expression is used to partition the instances space. So here two instances are similar when they end up in the same logical segment. So in this session, we consider the models that define the similarity by considering the geometry of the instance space. So in geometric model, features could be described as a point of two dimensions, x and y axis, or three-dimensional space, x, y, and z. So even when features are not intrinsically geometric, they could be modeled in a geometric manner. For example, temperature as a function of time can be modeled in two axes. In geometric model, there are two ways we could impose similarities. We could use the concept like lines or planes to segment the instant space, and these are called as linear models. Or alternatively, we can use a geometric notation of distance to represent the similarity. So in this case, if two points are close together, they have similar values for futures and thus can be classified as similar. And we call such models as distance based models. Now coming to geometric models. So here in geometric models, coming to the first one, that is linear model. So here linear models are relatively simple. In this case, the function is represented as a linear combination of its input. Thus, if x1 and x2 are the two scalars of the vectors of the same dimension and a and b are the arbitrary scalars, then ax1 plus bx2 represents a linear combination of x1 and x2. So in the simplest case where f of x represents a straight line, we have an equation of the form f of x is equal to mx plus c, where c represents the intercept and m represents the slope. Small break. Sorry friends, actually I'm suffering with COVID, so I'm making this video from quarantine. Now, so here we are looking about the linear models. So linear models are relatively simple. So in this case, the function is represented as a linear combination of its input. Thus, if x1 and x2 are the two scalars or vectors of the same dimensions and a and b are the arbitrary scalars, then ax1 plus bx2 represents the linear combination of x1 and x2. So in the simplest case where fx represents a straight line, we have an equation of the form f of x is equal to mx plus c, where C represents the intercept and M represents the slope. So here linear models are parametric, which means that they have fixed form with a small number of numeric parameters that need to be learned from the data. For example, if f of x is equal to mx plus c, here m and c are parameters that what we are trying to learn from the data. So this technique is different from tree or rule models where the structure of the model is not fixed in advance. So here linear models are stable, that is small variations in the training data have only a limited impact of the linear model. So in contrast, the tree models tend to vary more with the training data as a choice of different split of the root of the tree. So this typically means that the rest of the tree is different as well. So here, as a result of having relatively few parameters, linear models have low variance and high bias. This implies that linear models are less likely to overfit the training data than some other models. So however, they are more likely to underfit. For example, if you want to learn the boundaries between the countries based on the labeled data, then these linear models are not likely to give a good approximation. So in this session, we could also use algorithms that include kernel methods such as support vector machines, SVM. Kernel methods use the kernel functions to transmit the data into another dimensions where easier separation can be achieved for the data, such as using a hyperplane for SVM. Now coming to the second model, that is a distance based models. So here the distance based models are the second class of geometric models like linear models. Distance based models are based on the geometry of the data. So as the name implies, distance based models, sorry. So as the name implies, the distance based models work on the concept of distance. So in the context of machine learning, the concept of distance is not based on merely the machine or the physical distance between the 2 points. So instead, we could think of the distance between the 2 points considering the mode of transport between the 2 points. So here the distance depends on the pieces used. For example, a bishop can move the diagonally, thus depending on the entity and the mode of travel. So the concept of distance can be experienced differently. So the distance metrics commonly uses the Euclidean, Minkowski, Manhattan, and Mahalanobis. So here the distance is applied through the concept of neighbors and exemplars. So here neighbors are going in proximity with respect to the distance measured and expressed through the exemplars. So here the exemplars are either centroids that find the center of mass according to the chosen distance metric, or medidoids that find the most centrally located data points. So here the most commonly used centroid is the arithmetic mean, which minimizes the squared Euclidean distance to all other points. Understood? Now coming to the probabilistic model. So here the third family of machine learning algorithm is the probabilistic model. So here we have seen before that the k nearest neighbor algorithms uses the idea of distance, that is example Euclidean distance, to classify the entities, and logical models are used as a logical expressions to partition the instance space. So in this session, we see how the probabilistic models are used to the idea of probability to classify the new entities. So here the uncertainty with respect to these variables, there are two types of probabilistic models. One is predictive and the second one is generative. So here the predictive probability models use the idea of conditional probability distribution P of y by x, from which y can be predicted from x, and the generative models examine the joint distribution of P of y comma x. So once we know the joint distribution for the generative models, then we can derive any conditional or marginal distributions involving the same variables. Thus, the generative model is capable of creating the new data points and their labels, knowing the joint probability distribution. So here the joint probability distribution looks for a relationship between two variables. Once the relationship is inferred, and it is possible to infer the new data points. Now, Navier Bayes is an example of probabilistic classification. So here the goal of any probabilistic classifier is to, given a set of futures x0 through xn and set of classes c0 through ck, we aim to determine the probability of the future occurrences in each class and then return the most likely classes. Therefore, for each class we need to calculate the probability of Ci or x0 so on up to xn. So we can use the Bayes rule defined as P of A by B is equal to P of B by A into P of A by P of B. So here the Navier-Bayes algorithm is based on the idea of a conditional probability, what we have seen in probability and statistics. So here conditional probability is based on finding the probability that something will happen given that something else has already been happened. So the task of this algorithm then is to look at the advance and to determine the likelihood of specific classes and assign a label according to each entity. Thank you all. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon for the latest notifications. Sorry for inconvenience, as I am suffering with COVID. My voice is very bad. That's the reason I am unable to teach with more clarity. Sorry.